What's up, friends? Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Madam Adam, and it is time for another honest tarot deck review. As Pride Month is coming to a close, I thought it might be very appropriate for us to look at the Wizard of Oz Tarot. Yes, the Wizard of Oz Tarot deck and guidebook, written by Erica Davis, illustrated by Davide Ortu. I'm guessing? I don't know. I'm probably saying that wrong, but let's talk about it. Explore your past, present, and future along the yellow brick road with Dorothy, Toto, the Cowardly Lion, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the rest of the gang from Over the Rainbow during your next tarot reading. See, I was worried about this. I already feel like it's giving hokey. This is something that I would consider probably a novelty deck. I'm open to being pleasantly surprised, but as of already, and just looking through some of the cards and stuff like that, I'm not quite sure about this one. This fully illustrated tarot deck and comprehensive guidebook features original illustrations that match characters from the film with classic tarot archetypes, making it a fresh interpretation of the traditional tarot deck. Are you trying to convince you or me? Honestly. Let's go into the guidebook a little bit. Love the box. Really cute artwork. The artwork is really cute, honestly, I will say. The artwork is really pretty. It's just that as we go through the deck, while I was flipping through the cards, it looked like they just needed to make somebody something, so they just put that character on that card. You know what I mean? I'm curious to see how we, if there's an introduction or an explanation for, like, why we did this. Alright. Introduction. Let's see. You may be ready to step away from Kansas, but is Kansas ready to let you? What in good gracious does that matter? If you're ready, you're ready, and the land of Oz has been expecting your arrival for some time. May the Wizard of Oz Tarot Deck and Guidebook clarify any past, present, or future roads for you. See, this past, present, future thing, this tarot's not really fortune-telling, per se. I mean, fortune-telling is pattern recognition, and tarot is a great way to look at patterns and stuff like that. But this past, present, future is giving very a very novelty kind of tarot, very hokey kind of tarot, very TV entertainment. Tarot is really popular. Let's make a deck. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's kind of feeling. Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion look forward to keeping you company on your journey. Long before Professor Marvel's journeys with the crowned heads of Europe, tarot has guided tricksters, cowards, and farmhands alike on their paths to success, quite possibly in ways they were never expecting. Tarot is simply one way to connect with your internal guidance system by amplifying your own intuition. That's fair. The 78 cards in this deck each hold multiple meanings that reveal answers waiting behind closed curtains. Each entry in this guidebook provides interpretations of both the upright and reversed meanings of all 78 cards. Very cool. You are more than welcome to use the sample card layouts in the back or make up your own as you go. Cool, so there's spreads in here. Perhaps the most magical thing about tarot is that there is no wrong way to read these cards. I mean, okay. Yes and no. There's no wrong way to pull cards, but taking the meaning, like taking the known meaning of a card and like changing it isn't really helpful to like people that want to learn. You know what I mean? I don't know. Understanding your tarot deck. Learning to read tarot cards does not happen overnight, that's for sure. It's a constant and evolving process, and even the most practiced of readers use guidebooks. Yes, we do. Because there are limitless interpretations, a handbook like this one is a trusty reference guide for what's what in tarot. Major Arcana. Minor Arcana. In this deck, brooms are wands. Cans, like oil cans are cups, spears are swords, and bricks are pentacles. Yes. The suit of brooms expresses communication or actions. I would say that would be more swords. This suit represents the traditional suit of wands and corresponds with the elements of fire. The suit of cans is in sync with the traditional suit of cups. These cards deal mostly with the emotional side of friendships and family life. Cans correspond with the elements of water. Okay. Intellect, actions, and reactions. But you already said actions for... For wands. Wands, we said, was communication and actions. That doesn't really make sense. Wands are supposed to be subconscious, spirituality, passions. Intellect, actions, and reactions. Spears correspond with the elements of air. Bricks, prosperity, financial success, and stability. Okay, yeah. Let's look into some card definitions. I don't know about this deck. I feel like this is just a novelty deck that they wanted to make on something. The Wizard of Oz is popular right now with Wicked and everything. So, I mean, the copyright for this deck is 2025. So, it's not like it's, you know, been around. Glinda the Good Witch is the High Priestess. That's fine. It looks like Annie M is the... Aunt M is the Empress. I did notice... that the Queen of Swords is the Wicked Witch of the West, and I'm curious as to why that is. The Lovers is called the Kindred, and it's shown as Glinda and Dorothy and Toto kind of together. Dorothy's choice to leave everything behind for her beloved Toto when Miss Gulch wanted to take him away speaks volumes about their kinship. In this deck, the Kindred appears to acknowledge the rapid approach of a long-lost friend or a new partnership. So the Lovers would be Toto and Dorothy, and the spiritual being, if we're comparing it to a Rider-Waite, comparing it to the Rider-Waite deck, which normally has two people and then a spiritual being. Here we go. So, the lovers, I guess, or the kindred spirits are Dorothy and Toto. Upright, when the kindred turns up in a reading, trust that the person you're thinking of is in harmony with you and your goals. Let go of any doubts about their loyalty or your ability to protect and support each other. Yes, there will be times when you're apart, but this friendship is here for the long haul. Huh. Nothing to do with choices. I mean, they changed the meaning of the card to begin with. They changed the name of the card and the meaning of the card. The reverse meaning is that even the strongest of friendships can wane, and since you can and will feel disconnected or out of sync with your trusted companion, this reversal reminds you that you are both allowed to make choices. Now we come on to choices. You're both allowed to make mistakes. And if the most recent version of this relationship has run its course, you have permission to let it go. Interesting. It feels like we're just kind of beating around the bush, you know? Like, we don't want to we don't want to say what things are. I don't know. It reads kind of weird to me. I want to find the... There she is. The Queen of Swords, the King of Swords is the Cowardly Lion in his royal garb in the palace. And the Queen of Swords is the Wicked Witch of the West. It says, for the queen, like the Queen of Swords, the Wicked Witch of the West is fierce and independent, cutting through idle gossip and getting to the dark heart of the matter. While you may not need to unleash the horde of winged monkeys to do your bidding, take inspiration from this queen and speak up for yourself. Okay, that's fine. But what does that have to do with the Wicked Witch of the West? Do you know what I mean? The King of Swords, as eagerly as the Cowardly Lion accepts his badge of courage, a prominent figure in your community is willing to accept counsel, and this card is a sign that you're the one to provide it. Rank or experience has little bearing in this matter. Your opinion is valid, and the King of Spears in your life will know this. Approach them objectively and reflect to them the respect that they've earned from you. This intelligent king will be certain to return the favor when you most need it. That's interesting. It's like it's just the wording on some of these are a little funky to me. I don't know. I guess I just disagree with some of the characters they put on some of the cards. Like the 10 of Wands, or Brooms, rather, is the Scarecrow holding a bunch of flaming brooms. It says here, you're at maximum capacity. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't carry anything else. So you were right to put your foot down. You've done your part. This card is a sign to step back, let go, and breathe. You have put yourself through more than enough, even if it doesn't feel like it. Interesting. I don't know. I'm not really sure about this deck. The images are really pretty. I'm glad to have it as a part of my tarot collection, but I definitely think that it is just a novelty deck. I wouldn't recommend this to anyone that is starting out, to beginners. I think some of the definitions are a little wishy-washy. Some of the cards are black and white. Some of the cards have color. The World card is really pretty. You know. And some of them are great. Some of them are great. They make sense. Like this World card, that makes sense. You know. It's kind of how I feel about the Alice in Wonderland deck, which I can review in the future if you would like me to. But the Alice in Wonderland deck, they just needed to put a character or an image on a card, you know. It's like they had a great idea for a bunch of cards, but some of them, you know, they just needed something. Like the moon, that is so pretty. So pretty. I love that. The star, yeah. The twisters, the tower. Mrs. Gulch is the devil. Yeah. There's a lot of really good ones that make sense. But overall, I think that, and you can tell kind of by the quality, the back is really pretty. They're beautiful cards. I think they're really pretty. I'm glad to collect them. But again, I'm not sure how much I would use them. It feels like another mass-produced tarot cash grab. But a fun deck to add to your collection. So, I don't know. Not for me, personally. I think there is some disconnect between author and illustrator. Erica Davis, the author, is a freelance editor, intuitive consultant, and the author of the PH Didn't Handbook, How to Quit Grad School Like a Champ. Erica's articles on grief and fandom, writing with ADHD, and quitting have appeared in Nerdist, Pipeline Artist, and The Professor is In, respectively. She lives at the edge of the woods with her husband, 2 rescue dogs, and several chickens. She's a self-certified Shroot historian and welcomes connections via @dorkwitchery. The illustrator is Davide Ortu, an Italian artist living in Spain, studied art at Cagliari Arts in Sardinia. On that Italian island, he began working as a graphic designer and advertising, and at the same time, he developed his pictorial side while showing in different exhibitions. In 2008, he moved to Madrid, where he discovered the world of children's illustrations, open, melancholic spaces, atmospheres between dreams and reality, a strong chromatic impact, and fantastic elements are the main features of his work, where time stops to showcase big emotions in small people, a mixture that aims to inspire both the fantasy of children and the hearts of adults. That's really interesting. I like that. That's cool. So, not for nothing, but a lot of times there can be a disconnect between author and artist. These are two very different people. And I don't know. Some of the images on these cards, and you can let me know when you see them yourself, but some of the images on these cards just don't quite make sense for what we know the card to mean. Maybe you can broaden the horizon or open your minds up a bit, add to definitions. But yeah, not for me per se. Glad to have it a part of my collection. Let me know what you think. The cards are really pretty. A full look at the Wizard of Oz tarot deck and guidebook is coming up right now.